Hi everyone, I'm Louis Gordon, Marcom Manager at Landa. Welcome back to those who joined us in May, and welcome to our newbies. Today we're at Landa headquarters in Rehovot, Israel, where Benny will update you about some important product improvements. Although Benny Landa needs little or no introduction, let me say just a few words about him. Benny is considered to be the father of commercial digital printing and changed the course of print 20 years ago with the introduction of the industry's first digital offset color printing press, the Indigo ePrint 1000. But what you might not know is that his real name is not Benny nor Benjamin, but Ben Sion. And he was born in Wrocław, Poland, to Holocaust survivors who made their way to Edmonton, Canada in 1948. Benny has been involved in imaging technology since he was a young boy, helping his father run a small photo studio in the back of his tobacco shop where they used a homegrown direct-to-print photography process. And it was there at age 11 that Benny created one of his first inventions, a chemical mixer that used rubber tubing and an electric motor from an old phonograph. But enough about Benny's old inventions. Let's hear about the new ones. And without further ado, here's Benny.
Thank you so much, Louis. I appreciate the introduction, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, our dear customers. Thank you so much for joining us today, and a special welcome for those of you in California. I know it's a very early morning for you, and so I welcome you. We've been working very hard these past months, and I do hope that today you will enjoy what we have to tell you about our progress. So rather than talking about it, let's get right into it. Let's start with the vital question of print quality. Now, as some of you may be aware, we describe print quality along what we call the technology S-curve. Now, what is the technology S-curve? All technologies evolve along an S-curve. What that means is, in the early years, they progress very slowly. After all the systems are integrated and their products start to work, there's a period of rapid acceleration of whatever you're measuring, whether it's speed, quality, cost, miles per gallon, whatever the metric is for improvement, there's a rapid acceleration of improvement. But of course, ultimately, all technologies plateau. They become asymptotic. They don't quite stop improving, but they improve very slowly. So on this chart, what we plot is print quality against time. And as you can see, by the time we launched our first product at Drupa, we were just at the very beginning of the knee in the quality curve. Our estimation is that compared to our target, which is the blue band at the top, we were perhaps 20 or 25% of the way. Now let me talk about the target for a second. That target pardon me, is offset quality printing. This is an industry in which quality is not an option. You either have offset quality printing or you're not a player. Of course, quality alone isn't enough to compete with offset, to replace offset. You have to have offset quality, but you also have to have offset formats, offset speed, offset productivity, and of course, the ability to print on any of the substrates that offset printing can print. So getting back to that quality target, you see that band at the top? That's where we have to be in to send products to customers. That's the goal. Now, as I just mentioned, we had at Drupa perhaps 20 or 25% of that quality. So why did you, our customers, stand in line to buy products? Why did over 400 customers place orders in the form of letters of intent? Why did so many place orders for these machines if the quality was so low? Well, actually, the fundamental quality wasn't low at all. And those of you who came with loops saw the sharpest dots, the most uniform densities, the similarity, the identical images independent of the substrate on which they were printed. You saw the fundamentals were fantastic. And you could see through the flaws, the defects, the scratches, the poor registration, and other effects for which we grade such a low quality for Drupa. Then, 4 months after Drupa, we met some of you at Graph Expo and showed you our improvements. We estimate that our quality at that time was perhaps 30 or 35% of the way to offset quality. And then we met some of you at China Print last May. Between Graph Expo and China Print, there was a tremendous improvement in the quality, and in our estimation, we were at about 70% of the way to our goal of offset quality. And now, earlier this month, we met with some of you at Print in Chicago and showed you the latest quality of our prints, which in our estimation is about 80 or 85% of the way to offset quality. Now, some of you told us at Print that the prints that we showed you, the samples that we showed you, were already offset quality and already saleable product. As I mentioned at Drupa, our target is not good enough. Our target is really perfection, at least to be in offset quality. And therefore, we say we are only at 80 or 85% of the way, and there's still plenty of work to be done to get to 100% standard of offset quality for all jobs, all the time, on all substrates. So we still have some work to do, and that's why, as I say, we are at the 80-85% mark. Now, let's talk a little bit about that quality. At Print, we showed our latest print samples to our customers and to some of the journalists with whom we met. Now, of course, this is a webcast, so it's very difficult, impossible for that matter, for us to share with you the actual print quality. But let me show you an example or two of the kind of prints that we showed our customers and the journalists at Print. Now, here you see a typical packaging print. This is a folding carton job. And if you could see up close, if you could see this in high resolution, you would see that it's virtually devoid of any kind of defects. Beautiful vignettes, very sharp two-point text, really very high quality printing, and we're delighted to be at this stage. We're right on target where we should be on our S-curve. But we've done something else apart from this improvement in the quality on traditional offset substrates. I mentioned to you at Drupa, and I will say it again now, Nanography can print on virtually all offset stocks and virtually all commonly used packaging substrates. Over the past months, we've made dramatic improvements in 3 ways. 1, we've improved our ink injectors, which I will talk to you more about. 2, we've improved the ink itself. And 3, we've improved the software. All of these together contribute to the tremendous improvement in print quality. Well, one of the benefits of improving the ink is we now are able to print on an even broader range of substrates, broader than those used in the print environment. Now, many of you probably will not be printing on canvas. Nevertheless, here is a print. You can't really see the content. This is on canvas, very, very rough stock. And even fewer of you will want to print on paper towels, on the stuff that you wipe your hands with in the kitchen or in the laboratory, which is what this is. But we are now able to print on extremely absorbent, extremely rough surface substrates. And look at this. When I turn it over, bear in mind this is an ink printing process on an extremely absorbent substrate, and there's 0 strike through. You see none of the image coming through. There's no transparentizing of the substrate, something that none of you have ever seen with any kind of ink printing process. So I'm sorry we can't show you the detail of these images. What we can do is zoom in and show you some differences that that have evolved from Drupa to more recent samples. So for example, if you look at this sample, you will see on the left is the image as we produced at Drupa, and on the right is the image that we produced several months ago that we showed customers at China Print. Now, you'll probably see the defects on the left-hand side that don't appear on the right-hand side. If we zoom in, you can certainly see those differences. And if we zoom in even more, the differences are really pronounced. You can see lots of striations and defects and scratches in the left-hand image, the earlier one, the ones you saw at Drupa. You see the color is less brilliant, the registration is poor, whereas in the more recent prints we have made really dramatic improvements to that print quality. Now, as you all know, at Drupa, we really blew people away. It was a fantastic success, a real happening. I would say the industry was wowed. And you, our customers, you voted really with your pens by ordering over 400 machines, signing over 400 LOIs. We clearly had a blowout, sort of a historic event at Drupa. That created tremendous customer expectations. So now the challenge is to deliver on those expectations for what many people referred to as the second generation of digital printing. So what does that mean, delivering on those expectations? To us, we don't want to just deliver on the expectations, even though they were very high. We want to over-deliver. We want to exceed those expectations with what we deliver. In terms of print quality, we now quite clearly see that we are going to establish a new standard for digital printing quality in the industry. In terms of the machine performance, the productivity, and the like, we also expect to exceed our customers' expectations. So how do we know exactly what your expectations are? How do we know how to set these goals, and therefore how do we know how to exceed these goals? Well, for the past year, we've been very busy. We've been visiting over 120 customer sites in over 10 countries, working with our customers, working with our operators, doing time and motion studies, really trying to understand the bottom line. And the bottom line is, what are our customers' expectations in terms of press functionality, system architecture, features and options? What exactly do you, our customers, really need from this kind of very high-end, high-performance digital printing press? Well, I have to tell you, I personally was quite surprised. I've been in this industry my entire career, and I wasn't expecting to learn something as new as what we learned. After all, for example, at Drupa, everyone told us how fantastic our touchscreen was. Nothing to do with nanography, but still a marvelous new kind of interface, a new way for the operators to interact with the machine, with everything at the operator's fingertips. Everybody loved it. But when we went and actually worked with the operators, did time and motion studies, and listened to our customers, what we discovered is that we put this screen in the wrong place. We put it in the front middle of the machine, only to discover that by the time the operator walks back and forth from the delivery section, which is where most operators want to spend their time, they feel comfortable being at the delivery because that's where the product comes out and they can be alerted to any flaws or problems. That's their comfort zone. They need to be at the delivery. So they told us, walking back and forth to the screen all the time, they're going to put a lot of miles on in every day. And so we learned that lesson that, hey, fantastic concept, it's in the wrong place. And you'll see in a moment what the consequences of that learning was, of that lesson, and what we've done about it. There's a second thing we learned from our customers, amongst the many. The second thing was, for those customers in packaging, in folding carton, we expected that they would be so delighted with a digital press that can print on B1, that's 8-up sheets, at the kind of speeds and performance and quality that we deliver, that there would be no problem with them doing coating offline. We were mistaken. We learned from our customers during this past year or so, loud and clear, customers in the folding carton segment need to have inline coating. Whether their printing is digital or not digital, they must have inline coating. They want to do the same coatings that they do today. We listened to that as well. There are many other lessons that we learned from our customers about serviceability and access. We've made many internal changes as well, some of which we'll talk to you about in future webcasts. But in the meantime, allow me to show you what the outcome of all this was, how we've changed our S10 product. This is what the new product looks like. So, yes, it looks like a Landa digital press, but no, it certainly doesn't look like the S10 as we showed at Drupa. What you can see is the screen is not in the middle of the machine. It's moved to the left-hand end of the machine where the delivery is. Now we call that end of the machine now a cockpit that gives all the controls of the machine and the delivery at the fingertips of the operator. Now I'll talk more about the cockpit in a few moments, but it gets integrated together with the delivery section, one wraparound cockpit for the operator. Secondly, we added, in this case for the S10FC, the folding carton version, which in fact is not just for folding carton, it's also for commercial printing, but it's the machine that prints on only one side. That is, does simplex printing, and we call it the FC. We've added an inline coating system. I'll talk to you more about that in a moment. In addition to these radical architectural changes, we've greatly enhanced our printing engine. It's one of the reasons for the improved quality. I'll talk to you about that as well as tremendous enhancements, especially to the automation of the sheet feeding section. Again, about that too, I will elaborate. So let's now go back, look at this machine. Actually, I wish I could get your feedback immediately. We think it's beautiful. The customers we've talked to are delighted with the new concept and with the appearance. I hope that all of you will, in fact, be very pleased to see this. So let's now zoom into the cockpit and talk a little bit about that. What's in the cockpit? Well, there's an inspection table with standardized lighting. By the way, the cockpit doesn't take up any more distance, any more space than a usual arrangement in an offset press where you have a separate inspection table, a separate inspection area. The total additional length is about the same. But we've integrated it into this cockpit. So why do we use the term cockpit? Well, a cockpit sounds like a place where a pilot or a racing car driver sits. A cockpit implies that all the controls are at his fingertips, conveniently, ergonomically designed to optimize performance, and wrapping them around with also some creature comforts, some luxurious things, small things like a coffee cup holder so it doesn't spill on the print samples, or a docking station for an iPhone, or loudspeakers, or a plug-in for earphones. All the little comforts that make the operator feel not just efficient, but that this is his place and he's happy to work there the long hours of his shift. Now, it's not that we weren't aware of the need to give operators a comfort zone and to give them this kind of upgrade, but one of the things we have learned, more than I ever really appreciated before from all these customer visits, is how important the operator is to our customers. The operator is a member of the family. The customer cares about the operator, not just that the operator is competent and qualified and operates efficiently, but that he's happy. And we're delighted with that because we think that giving the operator this kind of fantastic wraparound, total immersion experience is perhaps the most advanced ergonomic design of any printing press. So let's get into a little more. I mentioned the inspection table and the lighting. Now, of course, we have all the touch screens. On the left is a touch screen that gives machine information. This is very similar to the content that we showed you in the touch screens at Drupa. In the center, you have all the monitors of all the internally embedded cameras showing all the vital functions of the machine. On the right-hand side, the operator does job management, and overall, these enable them to control the machine. But we haven't forgotten that the operator also has a family and kids, and goes on vacation, and has a dog, and wants this to be his personal working environment. So the left-hand screen, for example, toggles into a personal bulletin board where he can put up photos of his family and other personal things, wrapping him around in an environment that he'd love to be in and be happy working in. Of course, we have the usual controls for the delivery section and usual adjustments in the right-hand part of the machine, and auxiliary functions and ancillary equipment and the like, all wrapped around where the operator's center of attention is. The second change that I mentioned is the coating unit. As I mentioned, our customers said to us, hey, it doesn't matter if it's digital printing or mechanical printing, we must have inline coating. Now, of course, we anticipated providing ultimately one day all digital coating, because coating like everything else that can be digital, will be digital, and yes, indeed, we will one day be offering a digital coating solution. However, until then, what our customers have been saying to us, what you have been saying to us is, in the meantime, just give me the same traditional coating methods that I use today. Enable me to provide the same protective coatings, decorative coatings, matte coatings that I offer my products today, and I'll be delighted. So we have now integrated into this machine an inline conventional coating unit suitable for water-based coating, UV-based coating, basically can enable each of you to produce the same kinds of coatings you presently do for your products. Another thing that we've done is we've greatly upgraded the paper handling systems in the machine. You see, each of you that buys a digital press will be focusing primarily on short and medium run lengths. That means frequent changes of paper stock. That means that every time you change paper, the machine isn't printing, or is it? So in our case, we've made automated paper detection, size detection, weight detection, the ability to change paper while printing, uninterrupted sheet feeding while printing, and uninterrupted delivery while removing sheets from the delivery stack. All of this to bring the industry's highest level of press automation to the S10. That too was feedback that we got from our customers that drew us to upgrading the capabilities of the product. The object is we need this machine to be working all the time, producing revenue and profit for you, our customers. Let's get back to print quality for a moment. I mentioned that we had this tremendous improvement in print quality that it came from three things: a new generation of ink ejectors, new generation of ink, and a greatly enhanced software that we've been developing optimized for nanography. So let me just relate to the ink injectors. One of the biggest improvements was switching from 600 DPI ink ejectors to 1200 DPI. This not only enhances the resolution, but also the dynamic range, the gray levels, and other attributes of the printing. And that's one of the great contributors. Of the three, perhaps that is the greatest contributor to the enhanced print quality. Another thing we've done in these past few months is we haven't just visited customers, we've also visited, in the case of the packaging industry, leading brand owners. We sat with them and described the capabilities of nanography in order to learn from them what their needs are. And what we discovered is that the leading brand owners, when we described to them the enhanced gamut of our printing process, they said to us, this is a game changer. Now let me explain that. With nanography, just with CMYK colors, you can now cover 65% of the Pantone range. And with the Landa 7 set of colors, CMYK, OVG, orange, violet, and green, 7 digital colors, you can cover over 75% of the Pantone range. So what did these brand owners tell us? In fact, one of the largest brands in the world said to us, this is such a game changer. You don't understand what it means to us. What it means to us is we can now specify special colors in terms of CMYK OVG and eliminate the special color requirements. In other words, no need to change inks. Special colors can be now entirely digitally created as part of a digital palette, and we are going to redefine all of our products to be compliant with Landa CMYK OVG. Now you must ask yourself, hey, why would the brand owners care? After all, it's the converters who have the issues. Well, the brand owners understand very clearly that cost questions, time delay questions, inventory questions, scrap questions that the converter faces, in the end, the brand owner is the one who pays for them. And in this industry, the brand owners very much drive the acceptance of new technology, new standards, and new directions. And we expect that this new digital standard will be adopted by many, if not most, brand owners for the next generation of their products. Because the pain that the converters pay, the cost, the scrap, the waste, all of that in the end is the brand owner's headache, because it increases the cost of his product, delays the introduction of new products, and in the end hampers the brand owner's flexibility and competitiveness. So we are absolutely delighted with this outcome, and we expect to have a big impact on both flexible packaging and folding carton industry. So let me just summarize what I've told you. If you leave this webinar with 2 takeaways, here are the 2 takeaways. The first, we are introducing a new standard of digital printing quality. We've greatly enhanced the quality of our printing process, and we expect Nanography to set a new high bar for digital printing quality. The second is, we are offering a new and superior customer experience, not just for the operator, but for the owner. For the operator, of course, the cockpit, the convenience of access, fingertip controls, everything I've described, easier service, of course, they're vital. But for the owner, for the customer, the profitability, the ability to capture profit from jobs he already does, from customers he already has, possible only with Nanography as an alternative to offset printing. That's the great customer experience we expect to deliver. So, what's next? Well, I mentioned that this interchange that we had with the customers was such a valuable experience for us. We learned so much from you, our customers, that of course our first priority is to continue this interaction, continue to visit customers, continue to extract information and draw feedback and improve and enhance our products, continue to better understand what you, our customers, need. And our second focus is on building our infrastructure, getting ready for delivery of the products, building our manufacturing and engineering capabilities in order to be able to deliver on the promise, in order to get ready to deliver machines. So I said delivery. What does that mean? Well, as you're all aware, these tremendous changes and enhancements and upgrades and re-architecturing and re-engineering comes at a price. That price is one that we believe is very, very much warranted, and we are happy to pay it, and we from our customers, those that we've spoken to in person, are also happy to pay that price. And that means that we will not be able to deliver our first machines at the end of this year or the first quarter of 2014, but rather only in the fourth quarter of 2014. So what does that mean? It means that our first machine, which is going to be the folding carton machine, the S10 FC, I want to remind you, it's not just folding cartons, it's also for commercial printing, but only single-sided printing. That will be in customer hands in Q4 2014. And that will be followed within 6 to 9 months, but within the first half of 2015, that'll be followed by the commercial version, the S10C. Now, as I said, this is, of course, later than we had originally intended. However, we think, and I'm sure that you will agree, that it's certainly worth paying this price to have such a tremendous capability and customer-designed, customer-centric product. I want to thank you all so much for joining us. I hope you're as excited about what we've shown you, about the news that we've shared with you today as we are. We think we're well on the way to having a fantastic change in the industry, truly the second revolution in digital printing, and we greatly look forward to hearing your feedback. Please let us know what you think. Thank you all so much. See you next time.